everybody, and welcome back to another Chat Stats and Fun Facts, a 2025 season preview brought to you by the Dry Pink Dialogue. Today, we are talking about Telasco Segovia, who not only has one of the best names of any player in Miami signed in recent times, but he's also an incredibly exciting young prospect. Saur, what is the first thing that comes to mind when I mention Telasco Segovia?
Cannot wait to watch him play. I am so excited for this player. I think he's going to be hugely impactful for this team. Exactly the kind of player that we're looking for in the midfield. And I am eager and waiting for the first game that he plays for Inter Miami because I think he's going to change my life. That's all I'm going to say.
I think he has life-changing potential. I agree with that. His 2024 season, and this is just for the 2024-2025 European season, so it's only half a year. He played 15 games, 909 minutes, and had 2 goals for Casa Pia in the Portuguese Primeira Liga, the first division of the Portuguese table or tier. Not a top of the table team like Benfica or Sporting or Porto, but certainly a high level playing big games against big time teams type of environment that he's coming from. He is Venezuelan. He came from Venezuela prior. He had a brief stint in Italy, but that was complicated. And there's a lot of complications with him that I don't think we need to go in when we're talking about his 2025 Inter Miami career. But here's my fun fact. He was the star or one of the stars for the Venezuelan U23 Olympic team that tried to qualify for the 2024 Paris Olympics. And he played against Javier Mascherano's U23 Argentine Olympic team. And I believe Venezuela won that game, but certainly he impressed Javier Mascherano, who decided, when I become a coach, I'm going to go get this kid. He's 21. He is really talented. He plays in a 3-4-3 at Casa Pia that asks a ton of the midfielders, that midfield partnership. He can play deep. He can play as a number 8 for the Venezuelan national team, of which he's now a member. He plays as more of a number 10. I have a feeling that we might get a little bit of him on the wings in those wide midfielder wing roles. So he's just a really talented player that can handle a lot of responsibility. I will also say, just because we did his signing video recently, he wins awards at basically every level. So this is a guy that's an impact player, and it's kind of an amazing thing that Inter Miami has gone to Portugal, signed an up-and-coming young stud, and got him to come to Inter Miami. And so it's an impressive signing, and I am very excited to see him play. I will add, as of recording, we haven't seen him play a single minute for Inter Miami yet. He did not play in last night's preseason friendly against Olimpia down in Honduras, and so who knows what he looks like in pink. But Saur, what do you want to see out of this player?
We haven't seen him play for Inter Miami in the pink yet, but I can tell you he's going to be life-changing for me. Now, I want to actually see him play in that midfield because his attributes, from what I've seen so far, from all the highlights that I watched, fit exactly what this team is looking for. He is a ground eater. He absolutely eats up space. You mentioned he plays in the 3-4-3 with the 2-man midfield, essentially. He has to do a lot of running, a lot of work in that midfield as the pivot. Inter Miami will play either the 4-4-2 or the 4-2-3-1 with Messi as the number 10 most of the times. In that situation, in that setup, he will have to do exactly what he does for his national team. That is, eat up ground and be that 2-man midfield with Sergio Busquets, perhaps. And I don't think anybody else on this team is able to contribute or complement Sergio Busquets in a better manner, both defensively and offensively, than Telasco Segovia, based on what I've seen from him yet. He is really good with duels. He's a fighter. He's feisty, gets stuck in. He's, from what I've seen, quite press resistant as well. If you can put 2 press resistant beasts in that midfield between Sergio Busquets and Telasco Segovia, we may not ever lose the ball. And that's fantastic. He has an eye for a pass as well. You mentioned he plays the number 10. He can be that creative outlet when Messi's on the bench. So that is really, really exciting. And I just want to see him play for Inter Miami, honestly, because at this point in time, regardless of where he plays, if he's on the pitch, I think he's going to definitely upgrade our entire starting 11.
I'm not sure I agree with you on where he's going to play. If I'm being honest with you, I kind of get a feeling he's.
It's about where I want him to play, and I want him to play in the midfield. But I do think you're right that he might play in multiple different locations.
You're right. I did ask you where you wanted to see him play, and I agree with you on where I'd want to see him play. I think he's going to be a left winger on this team, and that's weird because it's not really a profile that he's done a ton of. But I think he's also, by the way, I think he's going to start at the number 10 when Messi gets rest, and I think he's going to start in Busquets' role when Busquets gets rest. So he'll play a ton of games, and I think he has the versatility to be really good at all of those spots. I wonder if he's going to be the kind of guy that is so good that you kind of just have to find a place for him, and that's why I think that's going to end up being on the wings, because I think he's got a lot of talent that you just got to find a way to put him on the pitch. So that's what I expect, at least early on. But I do want to see what he looks like next to a Yannick Bright, next to a Sergio Busquets, next to a Federico Redondo, next to a Benjamin Kamaski, because I think he's going to partner well with all those guys because he has so many. He's such a wide-ranging skill set. So I am with you, man. I think he's going to be a really exciting player. He feels like the kind of guy that might force us to get his jersey at the next opportunity. So I'm excited about him.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the left wing shout. I know you've been quite adamant about it, and I'm not sure what brought that on, but I'm not sure if that's the best place to play him.
Well,
You're right that it might be because we may need to we may want to accommodate both Redondo and Segovia on the field. But if he plays left wing, then I'm thinking Allende, who I think is also going to be starting, would play on the right wing. Yeah, I think that could work, but I'm not sure. I've never seen him play that left wing spot, but that could be a case.
I think that's what Javier Mascherano has in mind. And we'll see if it works. I mean, again, he's never really played there, but when Mascherano did play against him for the Venezuela versus Argentina in the pre-Olympic tournament, he would have been playing as more of a forward, number 10. So I think Javier Mascherano sees him more as a player high up the pitch, and he's not going to play over Lionel Messi. So I think that means he plays on, and whether it's the right or the left versus Tadeo Allende, I think it's semantics as far as this conversation goes. But yeah, I think they're going to try and find a way to get Federico Redondo on the field. And I think that means playing Telasco Segovia on the wings.
I don't know if I agree with that, if Javier Mascherano has that in mind, because for me, you play the player in his best position. So it'll be interesting to see, but you're right. He's going to potentially play all across the pitch throughout the season. So it's not like we're going to be stuck watching him play in that left wing spot. I think we're going to see him in that number 10. We're going to see him in the number 8 as well. Overall, he's so exciting, man. Honestly, it feels like we're signing 3 players in one just because of how versatile he is and how much he's 21. He's still young. There's so much that you can mold into him. So just because he hasn't played left wing doesn't mean he can't do that role, because as a youngster, you can
Gomez do it last year.
Exactly. You can mold that player out of him. So the fact that he's young and he's got so many talents, you just refine those talents over the course of the season. And I think this is a fantastic player that we have in our hands. Absolutely exciting.
Let's talk about club expectations, because we keep mentioning Federico Redondo, but I think this is a really interesting parallel. Redondo cost us $8.5 million, and Segovia cost us $2.5 million. And is part of that because Segovia is Venezuelan and Redondo is Argentine? Yeah, probably. But also, one of them's already in Europe, one of them's in South America. You would have think that would have figured in a little bit. Segovia's price tag is significantly lower, and yet our expectations for him seem almost as high, if not higher, as we have for Federico Redondo, and similar to what we had for Diego Gomez. So I am curious if the club sees things differently, because the price tags are a little mismatched. He may or may not be a U22. He'll probably start as a U22 initiative player, and then we'll have the freedom to move him off of that designation if we have to moving forward. So he won't necessarily be filling one of those really precious U22 spots. And I wonder if that plays into how much he's going to be given first team game time, where I think we see some of the guys that are higher priced get forced into the lineup more frequently because of the price tag, not necessarily because of their play. So when you're comparing him to Facundo Farias, who was 3 times as expensive, Federico Redondo, almost 4 times as expensive. I do wonder how this all fits together, because it does feel to me, like you mentioned, and I would like to see, his best position really would be next to Sergio Busquets. But I don't know if we're going to see him there a lot. And I wonder if that's because the club has a different vision for him.
Do you think we live in a universe where he actually is a bench player and not a starter for this team?
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to get to, because like if there are players that emerge that become undroppable, Robert Taylor circa 2023, Yannick Bright, second half of 2024, like, is he going to get forced out of the lineup if he's not the guy that's making himself undroppable? And I wonder if that's at play here. Now, again, I think over the first 6 minutes of this, we mentioned how much we are excited for this player. I don't think either of us think that he is a candidate to be relegated to the bench in favor of someone else. I think we both think he's more likely to be the guy that's demanding minutes in his preferred role. But I do think it's worth having a conversation, or at least mentioning.
No, you're right. Price tag definitely plays a role. We saw last season that Redondo was, I don't want to say forced into the team, but Tata Martino wanted to start Redondo every opportunity that was available.
Well, not just Redondo. I don't want to pick
Yeah.
on Redondo, right? Julian Gresso, I think, got it similar.
Julian Gresso, exactly. Yeah. So there were players who were played, whether it was because of their price tag, whether it was because of the coaching preference. So yeah, the fact that he's coming in on a lower price tag, there's less demands or responsibilities on the club to justify playing him all the time, and that could definitely factor into decision making. Now listen, if he doesn't perform well, or if he is beaten out by somebody else who pips him to that starting 11 spot, that's completely understandable. That is more than acceptable to me, because that's competition within the squad and someone is just playing better and contributing to the team better, right? But it shouldn't be the case that just because he has a lower price tag and somebody else has a higher price tag, they should be played ahead of Telasco Segovia, regardless of the talent. So it's a very interesting conversation, and it could go either way. Honestly, you're absolutely spot on with this.
And listen, I'm not saying that because I think everyone understands that the better player should play consistently, but that's not always how it comes together. And specifically in the MLS, where roster rules are so funky that you kind of have to invest a lot of money in a few players, and those players really have to perform for you if you want to succeed at the best and highest levels. All that said, I think he's going to be a superstar. Like, he's my favorite signing of the winter so far. I think he is going to be like, Diego Gomez, I think, established himself at the end of last season as the best player on the team that wasn't a former Barcelona guy. And I think he's going to step up and take that spot as the best player on the team aside from the big four. So I'm very high on him. I'm excited to see what it looks like. I'm only disappointed because we haven't gotten a chance to see him yet this preseason. I think we'll get some minutes from him against Orlando City, but if not, I still think he has a huge role this season. And I'm really excited about Telasco. I've already got some good award names planned out for him because he's got a fun name that works with a lot of things. So, here is my over-under for 2025 for Telasco Segovia. He will end the season number 6.5 in our top 20 rankings at the end of the season. So after the season, when we look back and we do our top 20 rankings, is he going to be 6 or higher, or 7 or lower? Over, under, Saur, what do you think?
Over. I think he's going to be one of the top 5 players in the team.
You think he's going to be like right there?
I mean, I'm notorious for putting players into the third or the first spot without actually giving too much thought to it. So I might do it just to be proven right, even if he doesn't have a great season. No, I'm kidding. I do think he's going to break into that top 5. He has that in him. And if he doesn't, then that's okay. It's understandable. But I am very excited for him, man. He looks like a solid signing.
Is there a chance he's like the best midfielder in the MLS?
No, that's Sergio Busquets.
Okay. Okay. Aside from like the best non-DP midfielder in the MLS.
Maybe.
Because here's what I will say. He's played against Porto. He's played against Sporting, Benfica. He has played against really, really high-level competition. And unlike Diego Gomez, who came in having played a couple Copa Libertadores games, but really at the Paraguayan League wasn't that challenging. It was a step up to the MLS. Telasco Segovia is stepping down from the high quality of the Portuguese league to lower quality in the MLS. And I think he has a chance to absolutely hit the ground running. And if that happens, and then he still adjusts and improves as young players do, and gets more comfortable around the superstars and learns from Sergio Busquets, like I think he has a chance to be an absolute superstar. That's my hot take. He's going to be the best midfielder in the MLS, best non-DP midfielder in the MLS in 2025.
Make it happen, man. Telasco Segovia, change my world.
He could be a life changer, man. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. We will see you in the next one. And as always, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Do us a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Since our first viewer, sharing this with you all has been the very best part. So from the beginning until the end, thank you for being a part of this, and have a wonderful day.